America. Welcome to America Today, where we dive into the stories shaping our nation with unfiltered truth and bold perspectives. Stay tuned for what matters most. And subscribe our channel. Imagine stepping off a train at Washington, D.C.'s Union Station, the Grand Beaux-Arts hub of the nation's capital, only to be greeted by armed National Guard troops patrolling the concourse. The air hums with tension. Travelers hurry past, locals grumble about federal overreach, and the station itself, once a symbol of American ambition, feels like a flashpoint in a broader battle for control. On August 27, 2025, the Trump administration announced it was wresting management of this iconic transportation hub from Amtrak, citing crime, homelessness, and disrepair. This move, paired with the ongoing deployment of thousands of National Guard troops across D.C., marks a dramatic escalation in President Donald Trump's campaign to reshape the Capitol under federal authority. It's a story of power, politics, and public safety that's sparking fierce debate. Is this a bold bid to restore order, or a chilling step toward centralized control? Let's dive into what's happening, why it matters, and what it means for Washington and the nation. The Department of Transportation's takeover of Union Station, announced by Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, is framed as a mission to revive a national landmark. The station, owned by the federal government since the 1980s but managed by Amtrak and the nonprofit Union Station Redevelopment Corporation, has long been a sore spot for critics. Its soaring arches and marble halls, opened in 1907, once symbolized America's industrial might. But decades of deferred maintenance, leaky roofs, broken elevators, dim lighting, have left it looking more like a relic than a jewel. Duffy didn't mince words. Instead of being a point of pride, Washington's Union Station has fallen into disrepair. He argued the federal government can manage it better, promising investments to lure new tenants, boost revenue, and tackle issues like homelessness and crime, including a February 2025 murder in the station's parking garage. The plan, set to formalize in September, involves a cooperative agreement with Amtrak and the Redevelopment Corporation, with an eye toward private investment to fund upgrades. This isn't just about fixing escalators. It's part of Trump's broader push to tighten federal grip over D.C., a city he's called crime-ridden and dilapidated. Earlier in August, he declared a public safety emergency, invoking rare statutory powers to federalize the Metropolitan Police Department and deploy about 2,000 National Guard troops, bolstered by units from Republican-led states like Louisiana and South Carolina. Armed guards now patrol Union Station's interior and exterior, their sidearms a visible sign of Trump's crackdown. The administration claims it's working. A White House post on X boasted a 41% drop in violent crime and a 13-day murder-free streak, though local police data shows D.C. had already seen 2 7-day homicide-free periods in early 2025, and violent crime hit a 30-year low in January. Trump's narrative hinges on painting D.C. as a city in chaos. At a cabinet meeting, he claimed crime was the worst ever in history, crediting his intervention for a swift turnaround. "We've taken so many criminals, over 1,000, he said, flanked by Attorney General Pam Bondi and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. But the numbers tell a murkier story. D.C. recorded 187 homicides in 2024, down from 274 in 2023, a steep drop from its 1997 peak. A 16-day homicide-free stretch from February to March 2025 was the longest in 6 years, predating Trump's takeover. Critics, including Mayor Muriel Bowser, argue the crime wave is overstated, with police data showing declines in violent crime before federal boots hit the ground. So why the heavy hand? The Union Station takeover and National Guard deployment are pieces of a larger puzzle. Trump's been vocal about beautifying D.C., requesting $2 billion from Congress to repave streets, redo parks, and make the city look like Augusta, the pristine golf course. He's also flexed federal muscle elsewhere, overhauling the Kennedy Center's board and naming himself chairman and launching a review of Smithsonian exhibits for being too woke. The Union Station move aligns with this vision, a cleaner, safer capital under federal control, with Duffy promising to make it the premier train station in the world. But it's not just aesthetics. The administration sees Union Station as a symbol of D.C.'s woes, homelessness, loitering, and petty crime, that it aims to eradicate. The timing is no accident. With Congress returning in September, Trump's moves signal strength to his base while testing the limits of federal authority. The Home Rule Act of 1973 grants D.C. limited autonomy, but the federal government retains significant leverage, including over its police. Trump's initial attempt to install DIA Administrator Terry Cole as Emergency Police Commissioner was slapped down by a federal judge within a day, forcing a pivot to a parallel federal presence of National Guard, FBI, DIA, and ICE agents. About 500 federal agents now patrol neighborhoods, conduct checkpoints, and focus heavily on immigration enforcement. Nearly half of arrests since August 11 have targeted undocumented individuals, often at bilingual daycares or Spanish-speaking churches. This immigration focus has raised eyebrows. The White House highlighted the arrest of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, an alleged MS-13 gang member and human trafficker, as proof of success. But critics, like the ACLU's Monica Hopkins, call it a brazen abuse of power to intimidate DC's diverse communities. Local business owners, like Tumika, a store owner quoted in a White House X post, lament daily looting by kids, but others report a chilling effect. Restaurant reservations dropped 31% in the takeover's first week, especially in immigrant-heavy areas. A fruit seller told the Associated Press business is worse than during COVID's early days. Polls show 80% of D.C. residents oppose the federal presence, with many feeling less safe. Union Station's takeover has its defenders. Mayor Bowser, despite concerns about local autonomy, cautiously endorsed the move, noting the city can't afford the $8.8 billion needed for the station's second-century plan to triple passenger capacity and modernize facilities. If it's about what Union Station needs for its total transformation, that would be an amazing initiative, she said after speaking with Trump. The administration scrapped a Biden-era $10 billion redevelopment plan, promising a leaner approach to restore the station's commercial vibrancy. New high-speed Acela trains, launched the same day as the announcement, signal investment in rail travel, though Trump's earlier cuts to Amtrak funding raise questions about long-term commitment. But skepticism abounds. Amtrak, which took control of Union Station in 2024 after a court battle, has been sidelined. The ousting of Amtrak CEO Stephen Gardner in March, reportedly at the White House's behest, suggests a pattern of federal heavy-handedness. Duffy's claim that this isn't a power play feels hollow to critics who see Trump's moves as a test run for broader control. The administration's rhetoric, calling D.C. a haven for bloodthirsty criminals and roving mobs, clashes with data showing crime trends improving before the takeover. A CNN correspondent noted fewer people loitering at Union Station, but at what cost? The heavy National Guard presence has turned a bustling hub into something closer to a checkpoint. The stakes are high. Union Station isn't just a train depot, it's a nerve center for Amtrak, metro lines, buses, and retail, handling millions of passengers yearly. Its decline, marked by shuttered stores post-COVID and safety concerns, reflects broader challenges in D.C. But federal control raises thorny questions. The Transportation Department plans to channel commercial revenue into upgrades, but without clear funding, especially after scrapping the $10 billion plan, can it deliver? And what does this mean for D.C.'s autonomy? The city's home rule status, already fragile, feels further eroded as federal agents patrol streets and Trump muses about the death penalty for D.C. murders, a move the Supreme Court blocked in 1972. Public reaction is mixed. On X, some cheer Trump's law and order push, echoing his claim that D.C. is safer. Others decry a police state, with one user writing, National Guard at Union Station. This isn't safety, it's intimidation. Protests have erupted, with Vice President J.D. Vance and Hegseth heckled during a troop visit. The Washington Post-Char school poll found residents feel less secure, and local leaders worry about long-term damage to D.C.'s identity as a vibrant, diverse capital. Nationally, this could set a precedent. Trump has hinted at similar crackdowns in cities like Chicago, though D.C.'s unique federal status makes it an easier target. The immigration focus, bypassing D.C.'s sanctuary city protections, has Democratic mayors nationwide on edge. Politico reports fears that ICE sweeps could spread, using D.C. as a blueprint. Yet legal limits constrain Trump elsewhere. D.C.'s federal oversight gives him leverage unavailable in other cities. Still, the symbolism is potent. a president flexing executive power to reshape a city in his image. The crime narrative itself is contentious. Trump's claims rely on anecdotes, like Tumika's looting complaints, but lack granular data. The administration touts over 1,000 arrests, but local reports suggest many are for minor offenses like loitering or traffic violations. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro's push for maximum charges except, oddly, for certain gun possession cases has raised fears of overreach. Meanwhile, D.C.'s police chief has cooperated with federal immigration officials, a shift from the city's sanctuary stance, further alienating residents. Economically, the takeover could reshape Union Station. The administration envisions a revitalized hub drawing private investment, but the $8.8 billion modernization plan looms large. Without federal funds, can commercial leases cover the cost? Amtrak's record passenger numbers in 2024 suggest potential, but Trump's history of cutting rail funding. Congress allocated $2.42 billion for Amtrak through September 2025, casts doubt. The new Acela trains, hitting 160 miles per hour, are a bright spot, but limited track upgrades mean their impact is modest for now. Culturally, Trump's D.C. push is a lightning rod. His Smithsonian Review and Kennedy Center takeover signal a broader effort to stamp out woke narratives, as he wrote on X about slavery-focused exhibits. Union Station, with its historic facade, fits his "make it beautiful again" mantra, but critics argue this prioritizes optics over substance. The National Park Service's homeless sweeps near the station, part of Trump's crackdown, have displaced vulnerable people without addressing root causes. What's next? The Transportation Department's September action will clarify Union Station's management shift, but bigger questions linger. Can Trump deliver on his promises without alienating D.C.'s 700,000 residents? Will Congress fund his $2 billion beautification plan? And what happens if crime stats, already trending downward, don't match his rhetoric? For now, Union Station remains a battleground, literally and figuratively, where federal ambition clashes with local reality. As National Guard troops stand watch and travelers navigate a changed landscape, one thing's clear: Trump's vision for D.C. is bold, divisive, and far from finished.